a system approaching perfection.
We'll walk deeper into the belly of the beast if it means I'm able to further.
All right, guys, this is Danny at the Crypto Show, and I'm here with Randy Hencken.
That's correct.
Did I pronounce it right? Awesome. And he's with Blue Frontiers, which is kind of a new movement to get. Well, actually, what's the name of the project?
Well, it's called Seasteading, and so we're not that new a movement anymore. We've been around since 2008 when Peter Thiel started it with money from Poppy Friedman, and I inherited the project in 2012 and changed the direction so that we could be very practical about starting the very first seasteads. And I'm hoping that listeners of the Crypto Show are familiar with.
Yeah, we've actually had you guys on before. Yeah. And so what Seasteading actually offers is kind of an escape nation, a place to build new businesses without government interference and things like that. Tell me, I mean, if somebody wanted to start a corporation while seasteading, would that be a possibility? Or
so what we're trying to do for the first iteration of seasteading, to make it practical and attainable in our lifetimes, is to work with a host nation and allow us to build the first seasteads inside of a reef break. So we're building really nice, sustainable floating houseboats behind a reef break. We're not going to get wiped out by storms. And then the nation will allow us to be a special economic zone. We call it a sea zone. Right. So we'll be able to administer the taxes, the regulatory affairs, import-export duties, that kind of thing. And it would be a great place. Our goal is to be able to make it easy for businesses to come and register there.
I think Honduras had something like that, right?
Yeah, Honduras has a project, and we actually tried to go there, but they're moving a little bit slow, and there's difficulties for us. And I have other friends involved in Honduras. We signed an agreement with the government of French Polynesia, and that's when we did that last year, and that's when we, as the Seasteading Institute, and then we started the new company, Blue Frontiers, to actually build the first seasteads. I give it a 95% likelihood that it'll work out in French Polynesia. We did a bunch of work for them, submitted all of our documents. They just went through elections, new government came in, or the same government has retained power, and we'll be back at the negotiating table and hope to make a big announcement with them in the coming days.
You know, having a seasteading nation, it seems like kind of a zen place. What kind of money would you be using there?
Well, we're launching our own cryptocurrency. It's called Varyon, V-A-R-Y-O-N, which is a play on variation in governance. And we're doing our ICO now. We're trying to raise enough money to build the very first one, and then we will be able to start selling, from this model and kickstart the revenue and be able to, produce more because of revenue. Yeah. So we're doing a modest raise. And we're in our public pre-sales, and if people really want to, I encourage people to get in now, get in early while it's inexpensive, and we're being conservative so that the token holders have opportunity to grow with us.
Right. I was trying to set you up for something there. You were at the Zen party the other night, Zencash party.
Yeah,
so what's the relation to Zencash?
Yeah, so Zencash is a partner of ours, and their founders came to Tahiti with us. They taught the Tahitians about cryptocurrency. It's been awesome watching Zencash grow. We are, aligned in our souls for what the world should be, and so we are making a special where we'll take Zencash into our ICO and give a bonus at a lower threshold than if you were to buy with Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Oh, awesome. So, what about? You said that the reef is protecting. What do you do if a huge storm does come there? Do you have enough time to actually move the nation, or?
Well, I don't think we would move the nation, but we would batten down the hatches, and if we had to get the people off the floating platforms, we would go to a land shelter. So one of the first things that we'll do, because we're inside of the reef, and we'll have a land-based component where we'll set up a base camp, like a temporary housing. We'll be able to get people there within a year, and they can come and live full or part-time in a beautiful tropical location. And we would probably set up a storm shelter.
Okay. What about sustainability? Obviously you can't grow everything there, so some of your foods and things like that are going to have to come on board. And so how do you deal with that, and how do you get rid of waste and things like that?
Sure. So the first part's pretty easy because there's existing supply chains, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to be part of a host nation rather than out in the open ocean. Right. The second part, the waste, is we can handle it. but it's an interesting challenge because it's really important to us that we don't destroy the lagoons around us.
Right.
But fortunately, everything we want to do has been done before. It just hasn't been integrated the way we want to integrate it. So managing black water, managing gray water, catching rainwater, producing energy from solar panels, all of this already exists.
Even wave tech, whatever.
Wave energy is, kinetic energy from that is something we'll be using.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm on the crypto show, and our project, started in 2008 at the Seasteading Institute.
Right.
At the same time that Satoshi's paper came into the world.
Right.
And I realized that we are part of this zeitgeist of people who want more autonomy, more choice in their government, and that's what Bitcoin is doing in the world of bits. We're trying to do in the world of atoms.
So now that's where I was going to go with this. Is that I was actually watching Joe's talk at Libertopia, and he was talking about how nations could split apart from each other. So if the governance is not what you like, you and your cohorts would split off and fork to another nation.
Right.
So how is that?
Fork the nation.
You can fork the nation state.
Exactly. And then in the early iterations, it might just be forking the community.
Yeah.
But this is the big picture is that people deserve more choice. And while this is just a first practical step, Joe Quirk, my partner you're mentioning, he wrote the book on seasteading, and 30, 40 years from now, it's perfectly possible that there will be 1 million people living out, probably along the belt on the equator, in seasteads, and governments will be competing for them like services, and we'll have a lot more freedom than we have today.
That's awesome. So where would someone go to get involved and find out more about seasteading?
Come to blue-frontiers.com. And if you're interested in our coin, it's Varyon, VARYON.io. And we have more than 100 professionals actively working on the project today. For the crypto people, we have a bounty program. We have ways to get people involved. We're in our
right. So. Do you have any demonstrative models or anything going on? I mean, is there a flagship model we can go and see, or?
What you can do is you can visit the engineers we hired called Blue 21. They built a project in Rotterdam called the Floating Pavilion, and you'll see what it looks like when you're building inside of calm waves. What we can do, with a completely sustainable, energy producing island. And then we've hired one of our advisors is one of the world's leading experts on very large floating structures. So there are, between Cambodia and Vietnam, there's 30,000 people living on houseboats.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not completely brand new, but what we're doing by integrating this governance aspect, we'll be able to fill a niche for people like yourself who are looking for a little bit more freedom than we're getting in other places.
Right. Yeah, that'll be very interesting to see. The whole political dynamic. I don't like what you got. I'm going somewhere else.
And I know you're a Dash fan.
Yeah.
And we talked about Zencash. And we talked. We take.
Yeah, I was going to say you have what Blue Dash Frontiers in your.
Yeah, Blue Dash Frontiers. If we had enough demand from Dash holders, we would take Dash.
Awesome. So if you're going to take cryptocurrency, you just take all of it and shapeshift it or whatever.
Right, but for very the commitment to the token holder is that we use Varyon. If you want to buy a seastead from us, if you want to rent a night, you want to come to one of our events, you want to register your business, pay for utilities, you would have to do so with Varyon. But in our ICO, I'd be glad to. I think Dash is amazing.
Can I open up my own pot farm there?
You would be able to.
Hydroponics?
So we're working on.
All right, come visit my new pot store. All right, man. So it's Randy Randolph Hill.
Either way, most people call me Randy.
Randy Hencken. I'm sorry. I've had him on the show before, and I can't remember his name. It's because Randy got me stoned before we came on here. I'm just kidding. No,
this part isn't true.
It's not true.
Work his butt off here at Consensus with 8,500 people. He probably talked to too many people.
Oh my God, yeah.
So,
and that's like 8,500 paid, and then another 1,000 snuck in.
Yeah. So when was your first crypto conference?
Texas Bitcoin Conference. That's actually where our show got started out of the Texas Bitcoin
and what
Conference.
Year?
4.5 years ago.
It's a lot different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different.
The Bitcoin conference now it's a blockchain.
Yeah,
conference.
that's. I guess we can make that point before we get away from that financial freedom is obviously what is more interesting to people, and maybe Seasteading can offer that to them. Because, like, I just went to a Liberty conference, and it's like crickets.
Right.
But you enter the word cryptocurrency, blockchain, Bitcoin, or anything into a conference, and you just can't sell enough tickets.
Right.
So I think people are starting to realize that their freedom is actually financial.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important thing.
So you need to find a place to keep those finances safe, and maybe a floating nation is a good place to do that.
I think that, if you were to live in a floating community that we build, you can feel more confident the money that you earn and spend is not being taken from you and being put into things like prisons and wars that are just so bad for humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's where I think the majority of the money that goes through the Federal Reserve gets laundered through the Defense Department before it comes into our hands anyway, so,
Yeah, terrible.
What about pirates?
Well, I think you might be the only pirate out there.
Oh, okay.
But where we're going is not pirated waters.
Okay, good. Ernie, never mind. Ernie Hancock, you know what? Ernie Hancock is he's a huge pirate fan, so I was referring to his type of pirates if they could come and join. But
depending on how you define pirates. There's actually some pretty interesting history about the working anarchy of pirate ships and how they were able to make decisions based on this. Before you knew what the word anarcho-capitalism was, they were in many ways.
I call it fluffy bunnyism because. Basically, anarchy sounds so scary.
Right.
So, no, I'm a fluffy bunny. I'm not an anarchist.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
It's scary labels, man. That's it.
I hear you.
All right. Well, thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you for taking time with me.